Were you aware that Britain is ranked second in the world for the worst state of mental health? In other words, we have the second worst overall mental well-being in the world. I've recently just come back from a month-long trip in Thailand, and to think that Thailand is in the same world as the UK, on the same planet, is kind of hard to comprehend. There is a world of difference, pun intended. I don't even know if that's a pun, but you know what I'm saying. Let's begin with the people. So, it's no surprise, given the fact of that stat I just mentioned, that every city in the UK on a night out, you're guaranteed to see people fighting in every city on every weekend of the year. In Thailand, I didn't see one hint of violence in Thailand. In fact, all I've seen was friendliness, kindness, humanity as it fucking should be. Given the fact of the stats I just mentioned, it's no surprise that the overall mood in the UK is as dark as the clouds it is over the UK today right now. And everybody is just in a bad mood. Everybody's pissed off, everybody's stressed. Nobody's really approachable to speak to. The cost of living. In Thailand, I mean, what can I think? Use an example. Pack of cigarettes, right? Pack of fags about one to £2. In the UK, £15. A meal, a nice meal in a nice restaurant, you're looking at about £50 per person. In the UK, maybe more, depending on where you are in the UK. Somewhere like Thailand, £20 max maybe. And like, if it's £20 in Thailand, you're talking like the most luxurious place you could possibly be. The most fanciest food you could possibly think of in the world. People are working in the UK 40 plus hours a week, mostly overtime because they need it, right? And they still are just about getting by. Just enough to pay their bills. Like, most of us are just getting by. Obviously, you've got the people who got like professional jobs, and even they struggle, I guess. 90k a year, you know, 60k a year. Working full time just to pay the bills and have pocket change in their pocket left at the end of the week. Stress, struggling, kids being raised in poverty. Here comes the rain. Now, I'm fully aware that there's worse places to live in the world in terms of poverty. You know, places like Africa. But we know, the whole world has always known that Africa is, you know, a place of poverty and hardship. The point of this is we're meant to be the United Kingdom, Great Britain. Well, recently I've made up a new term for it called Great Shitting. Now, I could go into politics and talk about the government, talk about immigration and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. One of the reasons I made this video is because I'm genuinely curious, and this isn't comment farming. I genuinely want to know why people are choosing to stay in the UK if they have the ability to leave. Now, I don't have the ability to leave. If I did, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have my kids here. Is it fear? Is it, you know, fear of the unknown? I'm curious. What is in the UK for people to stay? If I was poor but able to live in a place like Thailand, I would happily live in Thailand instead. If I was a millionaire in the UK, what can you do? Live in a penthouse suite in London? Wow. Oh yeah, here it really fucking comes. I mean, it won't harm me for 10 minutes. I have spent a month in boiling sun, so I mean, I can actually appreciate it for 10 minutes. But you know, living here non-stop, permanently, people never leave the country. Some people never even leave their town. That I don't understand. I think a lot of people who don't leave their town is because they never have, and like they kind of don't understand what they're missing. They're not aware of what is on the other side. Sometimes the grass really is greener on the other side. Not every time in life, but sometimes it is. I find it quite fitting that it's actually just pissed down whilst I'm recording this, and I'm going to have to stand under a bridge just to record the rest of the video. So you might have noticed the tattoo on my head. It's a bamboo tradition Thai tattoo from Thailand, obviously. And it stands for freedom, free spirit, freedom of speech. don't conform to the norm, you know? That's kind of me, that's my belief, that's me. Now, in the UK, to me it feels like a prison. I've only been back like 2 or 3 days, and my mental health has gone from, say, a rating of like 90 out of 100 to probably 30 in a matter of 2 or 3 days. It's hard actually to even adapt back in the UK after being spending a month in Thailand. See, my way of thinking is we have one life. Never again. You're born once, die once, that's it. Why would you choose? Now, not many people have the capability to leave and stay gone. But for those who have chosen to stay and choose to stay and live in the UK permanently, I genuinely want to know why. What is in the UK that's worth staying for? For me, I haven't got the money to leave and stay. And I have children. I have children in the UK, so I have to stay. I have to come back, you know, at least to see them, to raise them the way I can, you know, the best way I can. Until they're old enough, until I can actually, you know, go and stay away, God willing, if I have the money one day. But other than that, I can't think of reasons why you'd want to stay in the UK. I mean, to be honest, it's not really just the UK. I think Europe in general is falling. But I'm from the UK, so this is about the UK. And I genuinely, truly believe, hand on heart, the UK is not going to get better. It's not going to get fixed. The UK was good decades ago, you know, but slowly, decade by decade, it's getting worse. And that's going to continue. That trend is going to continue. The UK will be completely unrecognisable in 50, 60 years. I probably won't be on this planet at all then, maybe. So I won't have to witness that, but my children do. And I can promise you I'll be preaching and telling them to escape the mindset of being stuck in the UK or the small town mindset, I say, of where you're from. The world is a big place. A big place compared to where you're from, compared to, you know, your town. And I'll be preaching to my children to travel the world, to explore, you know, the land that we're born on. A lot of people think that, you know, their home is where they're born, their hometown. My home is the planet. My home is this entire earth. And we all have our right to travel our home and explore every corner of the earth whilst we're here. Now, my tone and my facial expressions probably suggest I'm quite, well, pent up, a bit pissed off, passionate about, I mean, all of those things. But I'm actually passionate about what I'm talking about because I know it's the truth. And when I was away, I was having, you know, deep intellectual conversations with a lot of people from all corners of the world that agreed with everything I've just said in terms of like open-mindedness, people who they know from back home who have a small town mindset where the only conversations these people are able to have is limited to their town or their country. So it could be rumours about it. It's gossip usually. It's gossip. It's just like, it's pointless conversation. The conversations hold no value, zero value. In the UK, I actually struggle to even conversate with people because I don't like small talk. And the value of the conversation most people have in the UK is very limited. It's very poor. Holds no substance, you know? And I can't partake in those conversations. So a lot of people just think I'm probably like closed off. I'm in another country. I'm a different animal. But here, I don't really want to conversate with many people. If I'm aware that they have a like-minded view like I do, then I can partake and have a full flowing conversation for hours even, you know? I like those kind of conversations. But here, it's awareness. Not many people have awareness. And many people lack self-awareness. This is kind of going off topic now, but it all kind of ties together because it's the people in the UK and the UK itself that I'm talking about. Even our architecture is poor compared to other countries. You go to a place like certain countries in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, you know, those kind of countries, even Thailand, even Malaysia, like the Philippines even have a better architecture in cities than we have in the UK. We were made and raised to believe that the UK is so great. Everything about the UK is so great. I beg to differ, and I would even argue that almost everything in the UK is actually the opposite of great. I'm not the only one in the UK having these conversations. In fact, there's probably a mass migration from the UK to other countries at the moment, and I think that that figure will continuously rise because people who are aware are leaving if they have the ability to. I want to ask one more time for those who have the ability to leave but won't leave. Why? Why won't you, or why can't you? I genuinely want to know, because if I had the ability to leave, I wouldn't be making this video. Or maybe I would, but only to inspire people to do the same. Maybe you like the UK. Maybe you like the people with bad attitudes and the violence and children dying and the shit weather and extreme expense and working to be a slave to scrape by, and I could go on. Going back to my kind of attitude right now, I forgot to say it's frustration. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because I don't have the ability to leave the UK and stay away from the UK. And to be fair, I wouldn't be able to anyway, even if I did, because I've got kids. If I had the money to move them out of the country as well, I would. So I can't leave the UK, which is what I keep saying. Why won't you leave the UK? Maybe you have children. You know, maybe you don't have the money, same as me. I'm genuinely curious. I think a lot of people, though, as I said, aren't even aware of all this stuff. They're like, because they've never left the UK, it's just all they know. You know, if you leave a dog or any kind of animal since birth, and it was raised in like a house, and it never knew outdoor, it never knew nature, it never knew its own species, it's never going to know its own species. It's never going to know its own habitat. And that's kind of like the people in the UK who have never left or won't leave. I'm actually going to leave this video here. I probably wanted to go more in depth into these topics and the things I've spoken about, but because this ain't scripted, it's not flowing as much as I'd like. But I think I've covered, like, you know, the main things. And I think I've, you know, made a good case and got my point of view across. Plus, I'm actually kind of winding myself up talking about it. And I don't want to put myself in more of a bad mood than I'm already kind of in. But yeah, let me know if you feel the same. There's probably people who are watching this and actually feel exactly the same. Whether you feel the same, whether you can, whether you can't leave, let me know in the comments why you are in Britain. Let me know if you've never left your country. Let me know if you've never left your hometown. Let me know if you know exactly what I'm talking about. Peace.